Have you ever sat alone in a quiet room and really felt the silence? Not just the absence of noise, but the absence of connection. You look around. Everything is still. There's no one asking for your attention. No dinner bubbling on the stove. No voice calling from the hallway, "How was your day?" At first, it's almost peaceful. The world slows down. The pressure lifts. There are no expectations to meet. No roles to play. But then, the quiet stretches. The days blur. And that once welcome silence begins to ache. You start to wonder, does anyone still need me? Do I still matter? If you've ever felt that kind of loneliness, let me tell you something sacred and true. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. That ache in your chest doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're human. You've loved deeply. You've poured your heart into others. And now, in the stillness, it's okay to long for more. But hear this. Even in the quiet, you are seen. Even in the silence, you are heard. And even if no one has said it today, your life matters. The chapters may look different now, but your story isn't over. There's still beauty to be created. There's still someone who needs your voice, your wisdom, your presence. You're not alone. You never were. Segment 1. When life grows quieter. There's a moment many people never talk about. It doesn't happen all at once. It sneaks in quietly, almost politely. One day, the phone rings less. The dinner table seats more memories than people. The mailbox fills with more silence than letters. The noise of life, kids running through the house, doors opening and closing, laughter from the kitchen, slowly fades into something else. A hush. A stillness. Friends we once laughed with move away, or pass away. Family, once gathered under the same roof, grows up, grows busy, grows distant. The house remains, but the heartbeat feels slower. And then comes the quiet. Not just the quiet in the room, but the quiet inside. The kind that settles into your chest like fog. It's not about being physically alone. It's about feeling unseen, unneeded, disconnected. You look around and wonder, where did everyone go? But sometimes the harder question is, where did I go? But here's the truth no one says enough. You're still here. You still matter. You are not the echo of your past. You are still the voice of your present. And this chapter of your life, it still has purpose, meaning, beauty. Yes, life may grow quieter, but in that silence, you can hear your own heart again. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to reconnect. With others. With purpose. With yourself. Segment 2. Create gentle structure in your day. One of the hardest parts of loneliness isn't the silence. It's the drifting. When no one asks you what's for dinner. When there's no school bus to catch or appointments to rush to. Time begins to lose its shape. The sun rises and sets, but the hours between feel like fog. Formless, heavy, unmotivated. But here's a gentle truth. Structure doesn't have to be rigid or harsh. You don't need a strict schedule. You just need a few anchors, simple moments that say, this day matters. Maybe it starts by waking up around the same time each morning. Not because you have to, but because it's a way of telling your body, we begin again. Make your bed. Straighten the covers. It's not just about tidiness. It's about reclaiming a little order in a world that can feel chaotic. Pour your tea or coffee and sit by the window. Let the sunlight touch your face. Watch the world move, birds flutter, wind shift leaves. Let it remind you that you're part of something still in motion. Take a short walk. Breathe in the morning air. Whisper a prayer. Stretch. Water the plants. Write one sentence in a journal. It doesn't have to be big to be meaningful. Tiny rhythms create gentle momentum. And when your day has a shape, your life begins to feel shaped too, not just pass through. Structure is not about control. It's about care. It's a quiet way of saying, I still matter. And so does today. Segment 3. Let your home nourish you. Your home is more than walls and windows. It's a mirror of your inner world. When you walk into a room and see piles of clutter, dusty shelves, and closed blinds, it can quietly echo what you might be feeling inside. Forgotten, stuck, faded. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You don't need a full renovation or fancy furniture. You just need a few loving touches that whisper, "This space is still alive. And so am I." Start small. Open the curtains. Let the light flood in. There's healing in sunlight, warmth on your skin, brightness in your space. Clear off one table. Just one. Wipe it down. Put a flower there. A candle. A picture of someone you love, or of a place that brings peace to your soul. Turn on music. Soft instrumental. Old favorites. Something that lifts the air and fills the silence. Add a splash of color, a cozy throw blanket, a bright pillow, a houseplant near the window. These aren't decorations. They're reminders, beauty still belongs here. Your home doesn't have to be perfect, but it should reflect your worth. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You still deserve a space that feels cared for, because you are worthy of care. When your space feels fresh, gentle, and tended to, your heart begins to feel that way too. Let your home speak life back to you. Let it nourish you, body, mind, and soul. Segment 4. Move because you're still here. Movement is not about exercise. It's not about losing weight or impressing anyone. It's about one powerful truth. You're still here. And your body, it's been your companion through decades. Through raising children, holding hands, grieving losses, cooking meals, climbing stairs, and dancing at weddings. It's carried you, bravely, quietly. So now, when the world grows quieter and fewer people are watching, move because you're watching. Stretch in the morning while you're still under the covers. Feel your lungs fill with air. Let your arms reach toward the ceiling like you're greeting the sun. Walk to the window. Open it. Let the breeze kiss your face. Step outside, around the block, or even just around the yard. And if a song you love comes on, dance. Right there, in the kitchen, barefoot and free. Not for performance, not for applause, but because your spirit remembers what joy feels like when your body moves. You don't need permission to feel alive. You don't need an audience to be radiant. Every step, every sway, every breath you take is sacred. Not because it's grand, but because it's yours. You're still here. Still capable of feeling wind in your hair and rhythm in your bones. Still worthy of pleasure and presence in your own skin. So move, not to prove anything, just to remember. You are alive, and that is more than enough. Segment 5. Reach out. Yes, even now. It's one of the quietest aches we carry as we age. The feeling of being forgotten. You sit with a warm cup of tea, thinking of someone you once spoke to every week. Now it's been months, and you wonder, do they even think of me anymore? But here's something we often forget. Connection doesn't always come to us. Sometimes we have to go to it. Maybe you've been waiting for someone to check in. But what if they're waiting too? Pick up the phone. Call that old friend who's been on your mind for days. Chances are, they'd love to hear your voice. Say hello to the woman who bags your groceries. Ask the mailman how his day is going. These small gestures, they open doors. And if walking into a group or calling someone feels like too much, start smaller. Write a letter. Send a message. Drop a postcard in the mail that simply says, "You crossed my mind today." It may feel awkward at first, vulnerable, even scary, but those tiny moments of courage, they ripple. Because the truth is, others are lonely too. Someone out there is aching for the exact kindness you can give. So go first. Reach out, not because you're desperate, but because you're human. Because we were never meant to do life alone. And because even now, even here, you are still capable of sparking connection. Let that be your act of quiet bravery today. A reminder that it's never too late to love, to speak, to reach. Segment 6. Share your story, out loud or on paper. You've seen more than most people can imagine. Decades of laughter, heartbreak, discovery, quiet victories, and the kind of strength that doesn't make headlines, but keeps life moving forward. That story, it matters. Even if no one's asked to hear it lately. Even if you've convinced yourself it's just the past. Because here's the truth. Your memories are not just old moments. They are living wisdom. Start small. Write about your first job, or your wedding day, or the moment you held your child or grandchild for the first time. Speak into a recorder. Let your voice carry your stories into the future. Or sit with a notebook and simply begin. When I was younger. Don't worry about grammar. Don't edit yourself. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. You don't have to publish a book. You just have to share what's inside you, because someone, someday, will need to hear it. And even if no one reads it right away, something healing happens in the telling. It reminds you, I have lived. I have mattered. I still do. Because in a world that rushes forward, your story helps us remember where we've come from. What love looks like. What resilience means. And how beauty is often found in the quiet places. So speak it. Write it. Record it. Your voice is not too late. Your story is not over. Segment 7. Change the way you talk to yourself. When life quiets down and the house grows still, there's a voice that gets louder, not from the outside, but from within. Your inner voice. And if you've been carrying years of criticism, loss, or unspoken pain, that voice might not be kind. It might whisper, "You're not needed anymore. You don't matter. You've become invisible." But just because you hear those thoughts doesn't mean they're true. It's time to challenge that voice. Pause, take a breath, and speak back, gently but firmly. I'm still here. I still have value. I've lived through storms, and I'm still standing. Because the way you talk to yourself becomes the way you see yourself. This isn't fluff. It's not wishful thinking. It's a powerful act of self-respect. And no one else may hear it, but you will. Start each morning by placing a kind thought on your heart like a warm coat. Today, I'll choose one thing that brings me peace. Today, I'll take care of me. Today, I will not be my own enemy. You've spoken kindness to others your whole life. Now it's your turn. Speak gently. Speak truth. Be the voice that reminds you, you still matter. Segment 8. Care for something outside yourself. When the days grow quiet, and the world feels like it's passing by without you, there's something simple, but powerful, you can do to anchor yourself back into life. Care for something outside yourself. Not to be busy, not to be useful, but to feel connected again. Because when you water a plant, feed a bird, or tend to something fragile, you're reminded. You still have impact. You still matter. Maybe it's a small pot of basil on the windowsill. Maybe it's a neighbor who smiles when you wave. Maybe it's a stray cat who shows up every evening, waiting just for you. These tiny interactions, the kind the world overlooks, hold deep healing. They whisper to your spirit. You still have something to give. You're still needed. And in return, they give something back. A bit of rhythm. A bit of light. A bit of love. You don't need to solve anyone's problems. You don't need to be who you once were. Just show up. Feed the birds. Tend the flower. Offer a kind word. Care in small doses. And slowly, the emptiness begins to feel a little more full. Because connection doesn't always come through conversation. Sometimes it comes through presence. And in that presence, you are never truly alone. Segment 9. Express, don't suppress. You don't have to be an artist to create. You don't need a gallery. You don't need applause. What you need is a safe space to feel. Because when emotions stay locked inside, they don't disappear. They grow heavy. They ache. They settle in your chest like stones. But when you express, you let the pressure out. Paint with your fingers, even if it's messy. Write a poem that no one will ever read. Hum a melody in the kitchen, even off-key. Bake something sweet, just because you can. This isn't about skill. It's about spirit. It's about honoring the joy, the sadness, the memories, all the colors inside of you that deserve a voice. When you knit, when you draw, when you plant something in the soil, you're saying to the world, I'm still here. I still feel. I still have something to give. And here's the beautiful part. What you create doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. It's a form of healing, a kind of prayer, a way to show yourself love. So give your hands something to do. Let your heart speak in paint, dough, thread, or song. Let your feelings take form, because when you create, you turn the invisible into something real. And in that act, you remind yourself that you are still alive and still full of beautiful things. Segment 10. Let yourself laugh again. There's something sacred about laughter. Not the polite kind. Not the kind you force to fill a silence. But real, belly-deep laughter. The kind that catches you off guard. The kind that makes your eyes water and your soul feel light again. You may think, what do I have to laugh about these days? And that's understandable. Life has changed. Maybe you've lost people. Maybe some days feel too heavy to smile, let alone laugh. But here's the quiet truth. Laughter doesn't mean you've forgotten. It doesn't mean you're ignoring the pain. It means you're still alive. It means your spirit is stretching toward joy, even in the shadows. So give yourself permission to giggle at that silly animal video, to crack a joke no one else hears, to remember a ridiculous moment from years ago, and smile. Watch an old comedy that made you laugh when you were younger. Read the funnies in the paper. Call that one friend who always makes you laugh, even when you say, I'm fine. Laughter is medicine, not the kind that fixes everything, but the kind that makes the hard things a little softer. Even now, even in the quiet, you still deserve joy. You still deserve moments of lightness. You still deserve to laugh. Let that sound echo through your home again. Because laughter means hope hasn't left. And hope is always worth holding on to. Segment 11. Let grief visit, but don't let it stay. Grief doesn't follow a schedule. It can visit quietly, in the middle of a peaceful morning, in the scent of their favorite meal, or the sound of a song you haven't heard in years. And suddenly, you're back in that moment. The ache is sharp again. The emptiness, loud. You might wonder, shouldn't I be past this by now? But grief doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've loved deeply. It means a part of your heart is still remembering. So let it come. Let the tears fall. Say their name out loud. Touch the item they left behind. Speak to them in the silence, if you need to. Because your love didn't die with them. And neither did your right to feel. But then, light a candle. Take a walk. Play music that lifts you. Smile. Not to erase the grief, but to honor the one you miss by choosing life, again and again. Grief can sit beside you, but it doesn't get to take the whole table. Make space for peace to sit on your other side. For joy to return, even in small, tender ways. You are not betraying their memory by living. You're keeping it alive, through every step forward. So let grief visit. Welcome it like an old, familiar guest. But when it tries to move in permanently, gently remind it, this is not your home. I still have more life to live. Segment 12. You still have so much to give. You may not clock in for work anymore. The kids may not need rides or homework help. And some days, it might feel like the world has moved on without you. But hear this clearly. You are not done. You still have gifts to offer. You still have wisdom the world needs. You still carry stories, strength, and compassion that no one else can give in quite the same way. Purpose doesn't end when routines slow down. It simply changes shape. It looks like offering your time at a local library, helping a child sound out their first word. It looks like writing a kind note to someone who's hurting, a reminder that they're not alone. It looks like sitting with someone younger and saying, I've been where you are, and you're going to be okay. You don't need a platform. You don't need an audience. You just need a willing heart. Because even your smallest act of kindness might be the exact light someone else is praying for. There is someone out there right now who needs the exact encouragement you've learned how to give through all the years, all the trials, all the victories. So if you've ever wondered, what do I still have to offer? The answer is, more than you know. Your presence matters. Your heart still matters. And your purpose, it's alive and well. Segment 13, Ask for help. It's a sign of strength. There's a quiet lie many people start to believe as they age. That they're supposed to endure pain in silence. That needing help is weakness. That asking means burdening others. But that is not the truth. Asking for help is not a sign of failure. It's a mark of wisdom. You've spent your life taking care of others. You've shown up, at work, at home, in your community. But now, it's your turn to be cared for too. So if your body aches in ways that aren't normal, if your heart feels heavy more days than light, if you're feeling overwhelmed, isolated, or just unsure, reach out. Call your doctor. Schedule that checkup. Talk to a family member or friend and say, I need someone to listen. Or even just say, I'm not okay right now. That one moment of courage could change everything. You are not a burden. You are not weak. You are not supposed to go through life, especially this season, alone. Because being strong doesn't mean doing everything yourself. Being strong means knowing when to say, I could use a little help. And here's the truth. People want to help you. They just might not know how, until you let them in. So please, ask. Let others love you the way you've loved them. You deserve that care. You always have. Segment 14. Keep dreaming, you're still alive. Somewhere along the way, the world started telling you to slow down, to settle, to accept that your biggest moments are behind you. But they're wrong. You still have breath in your lungs. You still have thoughts that spark with curiosity. You still have a heart capable of wonder. That means your story isn't finished. Not even close. Dreams are not a privilege of the young. They are the birthright of the living. So try something new. Take a class, even online. Visit a part of your town you've never explored. Plant a seed. Paint a canvas. Start a journal. Let yourself begin again. It doesn't matter how small the dream is. It could be learning to bake something from scratch, or reading all the books you once said you didn't have time for. It could be dancing alone in your kitchen, or planning a weekend getaway, just because. Dreams don't have to be grand. They just have to remind you there's still more life ahead than you thought. Because you are still here, still learning, still growing, still becoming. Let that truth sink in. Let it stir something inside you that maybe you thought was gone. A spark, a flutter, a whisper that says, what if? And let yourself answer, why not? Your age is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter, and it might be the most meaningful one yet. Final message. This is still your life. If you've stayed with me this long, pause, take a breath, and let this truth settle deep in your heart. You are not just passing time. You are not merely surviving the quiet. You are still living. This is still your life. The world might have grown slower, quieter, but that doesn't mean your purpose has faded. Each morning, when your eyes open, you are given a new page, a fresh chapter, a chance, not just to get through the day, but to create it. So light that candle. Step outside and feel the sun on your face. Call someone who matters. Cook something that smells like memory. Water the plant. Pet the dog. Laugh at the old joke. These small acts, they are proof that life is still unfolding, beautifully, deliberately, and with you at the center. Because this quieter season, it isn't empty. It's sacred. It's slower, yes, but also richer, if you know where to look. And in case no one has told you lately, you matter. Your life matters. And you are not alone in this. We see you. We honor your story, and we're walking this path with you. So go ahead, write that next line in your story, because this, right here, right now, is still your life, and it's far from over. If this message touched your heart, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share one small thing you're going to do for yourself this week. Maybe it's a walk, a letter, a quiet moment just for you. And if you haven't already, subscribe to The Faith Alchemy. We're here every week with honest, hopeful conversations for this beautiful, sacred season of life. You matter. You are seen. And we are so glad you're here. Let's keep walking this path together.